Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Okay, so the title of this video is my first interview with Scientology official Pat Harney. Now, obviously, this is a little tongue-in-cheek because no Scientology official would ever sit down and do an interview with me. In fact, no Scientology official would actually sit down and do an interview with literally anyone. It has been decades since any Scientology official sat down and granted an interview to a journalist, did a podcast with anyone. It's just not possible. In fact, even when I went on to the Lex Friedman podcast and I was talking about Scientology and I said, Lex, look, I'm talking about Scientology fairly. I'm talking about Scientology. I'm describing Scientology. I'm explaining Scientology as fairly as an actual Scientology official would. And I said, but let me point something out. I said, Lex, you'll never get a Scientology official to come onto your program, ever. And he said, you don't think I could get David Miscavige on this program? I said, I know you'll never get David Miscavige on this program. I said, stop talking about David Miscavige. You'll never get any Scientology official on this program. And he said, I disagree with you. I said, I hope you're right, but you're not. Okay, but you know what? I'm not a defeatist individual. I like to set my sights high. There's a saying, aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll still land among the stars. So whereas Pat Harney did not officially grant me an interview, I want to show you my attempts to have a very civil discourse with Pat Harney, Scientology official from the Office of Special Affairs. Now, to set the stage, let me just show you from, I think this was 1995. Pat Harney appeared on the Phil Donahue show with then Scientology president Heber Jensch. And I just want to show you her introduction and a tiny little clip from that.
Patricia Jones, we thank you for joining us from Washington, D.C.
She went by Patricia Jones back then.
You are the president of the founding Church of Science of Washington. Is this right?
Scientology in Washington, D.C. Yes, Phil.
I see. And you're with Reverend Alfredi Johnson, a Baptist minister from Los Angeles.
Alfredi is one of these Scientologists who's also, before he was in Scientology, he was a Baptist minister, and now he's one of the people that Scientology uses to pretend that you can be both, but he just pretends to be a Christian these days. He's actually just a Scientologist.
Yes. So you can praise Jesus and be a member of the Church of Scientology.
Well, actually, what I am is a Christian Baptist minister out of Compton, California, South Central, who utilizes the study technology of L. Ron Hubbard.
Okay. My only point in this clip was to show you that Pat Harney was sent to the Phil Donahue show to appear as a representative of Scientology alongside then Scientology president, the president of the Church of Scientology International, Heber Jensch. Now, Pat was introduced there as the president of the founding Church of Scientology in Washington, D.C. The president's title in Scientology, it doesn't actually mean anything. It really just means spokesperson. But and also Heber Jensch as the president of the Church of Scientology International, which he's not any longer. There is no president of CSI any longer. But that post title, that post exists in the Office of Special Affairs International. So it's an OSA post, and OSA is the legal, media, and dirty tricks department of Scientology. So when Pat Harney is introduced as the president of the Scientology organization in Washington, D.C., understand that means Pat Harney is working for the Office of Special Affairs. That was 1995, 30 years ago, 29 years ago. Pat Harney still today works in the Office of Special Affairs, but instead of being in D.C., she works in Clearwater, Florida. So last week or 2 weeks ago, when I was going down to downtown Clearwater to protest, I walked by Scientology's so-called Welcome Center. And usually when I'm anywhere in the area, they close those doors and they weld them shut. And it's very inconvenient. They have to, weld them every single time. It's ridiculous. For once, the doors were open. And so I walked right up to the doors, and who was there but the one and only Pat Harney? We had a very short conversation. Now, I've known Pat Harney for a long time. And I also, for example, 2 or 3 years ago was when I was running for Clearwater City Council. One of the things Pat Harney was assigned to do was call all of the non-Scientologist business owners in downtown Clearwater and try to get a read on them for whether they were going to support me in my city council race. That's right. You had a so-called church representative calling non-Scientologist business leaders to try to influence them in a political race. So, of course, many of those people were my friends, and I would hear all about the funny phone calls from Pat Harney. Let me show you me showing up and surprising Pat Harney at the Scientology Welcome Center a couple weeks ago. How do I go full screen on this? Here we go. And here we go. Hey, how you doing, Pat? Good to see you. It's been a while. That's why I'm not in here. I'm in the public area. Yes. Well, give Dave my best. Say hi to Amber. Have a good evening. Okay, now, did you guys see the sign right there in the foyer says all are welcome? Okay. I popped my head in and she's like, you're not welcome here. Or she might have said, you're not allowed in here. You can't very clearly hear her, but take a listen to it one more time. Hold on. That's Pat Harney. She works in the Office of Special Affairs for Scientology. All right, let's rewind it because it's just so much fun. Hey, how you doing, Pat? Good to see you. It's been a while. That's why I'm not in here. I'm in the public area. Yes. Well, give Dave my best. Say hi to Amber. Of course, when I say give Dave my best, I'm referring to David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology. Okay, so me and Erica and Farrell Cheryl were downtown doing some protesting against Scientology last night. And as soon as I walk up to them, I got a belated Christmas present. Pat Harney walked by. And I just, I regretted not being able to have more of a conversation with her the previous time. And let me show you. Now, this was my best attempt to have an actual conversation and an interview with Pat Harney. It did not go as well as I had hoped, but let's check this out. Hey, oh, it's Pat Harney. Hey, good to see you, Pat. Hey, I didn't get a chance to really catch up with you the other night. Just wanted to say how much I appreciate Scientology sponsoring SPTV. And all the Scientology ads you guys play on my YouTube channel. And also, please send my thanks to Grant Cardone. I'm making a lot of money off of his ads as well. Have a wonderful evening, Pat. Good to see you. Pat works for the Office of Special Affairs here in Scientology. One of her main jobs is to harass critics. I thanked her for all the ads they run on our channels. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good for them to know that. Yeah.
Hey, Cheryl. Oh, I like your t-shirt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey. Oh, man. Guys, I'm telling you, that's probably, I don't know if I'll ever get a better opportunity to interview a Scientology official than I did last night. Some people were asking me in the comment section, like, where was she walking before she decided to do that U-turn? I do not know what made Pat Harney think that she could walk by all these protesters without being stopped or spoken to or something like this. But when she chose to walk by the protesters, I was not there yet. So this was a perfect storm. And but she did not plan on walking by me. So we were standing at the intersection of, right there at the corner of the Fort Harrison Hotel. I forget the name of the cross street. Pat's offices is 1 block away, but 2 stoplights away. Pat was trying to walk to the Clearwater Bank building, which is where the Office of Special Affairs offices are. It's where the Welcome Center is. It's where I showed you the first short of me popping my head in the door and she was sitting at the reception desk. Now you might go, why is someone who works for the Office of Special Affairs for 30 years sitting at the reception dinner of the reception desk of the Welcome Center? And that's because that Welcome Center is actually run by the Office of Special Affairs. Like, that's how creepy it is. They don't even want new people to come and find out about Scientology in a space where people are actually doing Scientology. They want people to come in and find out about Scientology in a space that's heavily monitored by the Office of Special Affairs. So Pat realized pretty quickly that I was going to try to talk to her the entire way back to her office. And she was like, oh, hell no, I am not prepared for that. I'm just going to do a little U-turn and go right into the superpower building, which, by the way, is what Scientology calls that building. It's the superpower building. So that's it, guys. Look, I'm going to keep aiming for the moon and hope that if I miss, I still land among the stars. I am going to keep trying to interview Scientology officials, Scientologists. And I'll tell you what, when I have opportunities to directly interact with public Scientologists or staff members or SEERG members, there's one piece of information I'm quite literally obsessed with right now. I'm going to try to figure out how to bring it up quickly and easily in my conversations. And this has to do with the number of Scientologists in the world. Okay. Now that I have an official list of Scientology's weekly birthday game standings, that proves definitively that even Scientology's internal weekly reports say there's only 134 Class 5 Scientology organizations in the world. I'm obsessed with this number right now. Scientology claims 15 million members. Now, just to keep the numbers easy, let's go with 10 million. And I'm telling you, when I was in Scientology, I believed those numbers. I completely believed those numbers. But check this out. If there's 134 Scientology orgs in the world, and if there's 10 million Scientologists in the world, you guys can double check the math. That comes out to about 70,000 Scientologists per org. Guys, there's only about 30,000 Scientologists in the entire world. And any Scientologist in any org knows there's not more than 100 or 200 Scientologists per org. And even then, I'm being very generous. But like, even to be unbelievably generous, there's not more than 200 Scientologists per org if you include public and staff. I am obsessed with somehow getting this into the heads of Scientologists. One of the ways that you might do that is to just start out a conversation by saying, hey, how many Scientologists are there in the world? They will say millions. That inevitably, every Scientologist will say millions. And you go, well, actually, Scientology says there's about 10 million members. But there's only 134 orgs. So that means there's 70,000 Scientologists per org. Is there 70,000 Scientologists at your org? I don't know. I've got to perfect it. I've got to, try out a few different ways to do it. I guess it depends on how much time you have to talk to them. But here's how I'm approaching this. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this in the live chat and in the comments section. The way cults control the thinking, the thought process of their members, it's hard to truly understand how effective they can do it unless you've been a part of it. And I know it's almost impossible for Scientologists to consider that they're being lied to. But despite that thought control ability, there still is something that kicks into play where if you become aware that you're being lied to about one major important thing, even despite the cult brainwashing and the conditioning, you're going to start thinking, what else am I being lied to about? And I'm just sort of obsessed with this number of Scientologists figure right now, because I know how firmly I believed when I was in Scientology that we truly had 8, 10, 15 million members. I never doubted it even for a second. And I asked myself, how is that possible that I never doubted that? And I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. It never even occurred to me to doubt it. Even though if you had also asked me how many public are at your org, I would have been like, I don't know, a few hundred maybe. I believed these two completely contrary things at the same time without it ever even occurring to me that these things did not match up. So I'm kind of obsessed with figuring out how to quickly and easily get through to a Scientologist that they're being lied to, not just lied to, but by like orders of magnitude lied to about the number of Scientologists, and to hopefully create the effect in them where they're like, oh my God, that's kind of a big deal. And that maybe that'll be the first crack in the dam for them to go, I wonder what else I'm being lied to about. Do you guys think this approach would work? And it doesn't have to work 100% of the time. It could work 5% of the time for all I care. It's still effective because, a lot of times people will ask, what can I say to a Scientologist that will get them, that will have any effect? Or is there anything anybody could have said to you when you were in Scientology that would have, caused you to rethink things or whatever? And I always say, no, there really isn't, to be honest. And yet it's a little defeatist to keep telling people there's nothing you can say. So anyway, this is something I'm a little obsessed with right now, focusing in on the number of Scientologists in the world. It partly has to do with the fact that I finally, after trying for years and years and years to get my hands on these weekly birthday game standings that I remember, we would get every week when I was in Scientology. But, I've been out of Scientology now for officially about 10 years. And literally just the last week or two, for the first time ever, I got my hands on the current birthday game standings. 134 orgs in the world. All right, let's see. People asking, is this hat too big for me? No, I just don't want to make it tight. I just don't want to make it tight, guys. Okay, let's run through some starred comments and we'll wrap this one up. This is just a short one. I have like 2 or 3 major banger videos I want to get done today, and I'm trying not to procrastinate too much. Kestrel says, I saw the short. Jen Chi, happy Saturday, everybody. Kaylee M, catching alive for the first time. Kaylee, glad to have you here. Congratulations on catching alive for the first time, and thank you for jumping into the live chat. Burnsy25, it's a great day not to be in a cult. Brave says, listening from work. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for joining, Brave, and thank you for being a channel member. Old Frizz, hey, how you doing, Old Frizz? Doesn't matter to you, not to me. Hello, lovely people. Blues, greens, grays, lurkers, trolls, haters, and even Osa. Ken Grover, good to see you, Ken. All the membership stars must piss Osa right off. Yes. Robin Bikerdike? Okay. Is that Robin Bikerdike? Trying to get me in trouble here. It was such a polite conversation. Why ever did she walk away? Stay Spiria. They won't make that mistake with the open doors again. Game Time Brian. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Game Time Brian. Thanks for being a channel member. Cheryl Autry. Oh, that laugh is my favorite. Thank you, Cheryl. Just a Northern Girl. Pat Harney, U-turn specialist extraordinaire. On Purpose with Karina. Hi from the couple that came up to the group a couple of weeks ago. Great live yesterday. Good to see you, Karina. Hey, come out and join us again. We'll probably be out there next Friday evening. And also, I have to find out if Scientology is holding its Clearwater New Year's Eve event on New Year's Eve, or if for some reason they're doing it earlier, which I don't know. My point here is this: we might be out there on New Year's Eve. What better way to spend New Year's Eve than protesting Scientology on the main streets of downtown C-Dub? Lori plays, OMG, that was hilarious. Good to see you, Lori. Game Time Brian. Pat had a brisk walk. Yes, Sea Org members are fast walkers, and Pat's had a lot of experience. Sal Storm, if she would have walked any faster, she would have burned the soles off of her shoes. Cheryl Autry, Pat, the Olympic speed walker. Stay Spiria, a short brisk walk is good for you. So that was nice of you to help her achieve that. Karen Coates, the joy is palpable. Such delight. Lydia Von Stretchclaw, always good to see you, Lydia. And thank you for being a channel member for 8 months. Pat Harney, RPF, speed like speed walking. Jen Chi, sorry. I can't imagine living my life every day on the lookout for people I can't talk to. Long gone are the good old days when Scientologists would come out and play with us. And, honestly, we would have more fun out there if more Scientologists would come out to play. Mike 7090, I bet she is regretting not talking to you now. Honestly, she'd probably be in a lot of trouble if she did talk to me. But, yeah. Arnie Van Halen, when you're walking next to her, she thinks you're an ass or seriously a dangerous threat. Oh, no. She doesn't think I'm a dangerous threat at all. She just thinks I'm an ass for sure. Daniel Sander, thank you for gifting 5 channel memberships. I really appreciate that. Malta McMurchie, we love you, buddy. Thank you, Malta. I appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it. Just a short one. Thank you for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for much more later today, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.